So, you're in the bar chit-chatting with a young lady when suddenly a wild boyfriend appears. An honest mistake that could have easily been resolved without conflict, but you're too proud and you're not having it. So you escalate instead. The situation reaches a boiling point and you decide to take a swing at him, only to find out that he is in fact him. Now you're getting your ass beat, and the wrath of the creasing is upon you. Your friends won't even help you because they already tried to tell you that he was a menace. And as you're getting packed up and shipped to the Shadow Realm, all you can do is wonder how this came to be. What could you have done differently to avoid this grim fate? Now let's talk about it. First of all, you need to like this video and subscribe to the channel because that would be really awesome and it would help me out. Now let's get started.
Hi, I'm Stacy, and you're listening to Touch Grass and watch your... Damn it, I said what? Hi, I'm Stacy, and you're listening to Touch Grass and wash your beep.
Everybody wants to be a tough guy. You want to be the baddest man on the block, the guy who takes no shit. But let me tell you that volunteering to participate in a street fight is one of the dumbest, most dangerous things you can do. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how strong you are or how skilled you are. You could be weak, strong, even a martial arts champion. In fact, the top pro fighters will be the first to tell you to avoid street fights at all costs. It's not a competition. You are not engaging in a controlled environment. There is no referee, and tapping out don't mean shit. Now, am I saying that learning to fight and becoming a competent martial artist is useless? Absolutely not. Learning how to fight is absolutely essential, but it has to be a last resort. It has to be the very last option after all other efforts to avoid the conflict have failed. Because once you've engaged, anything can happen. Once you've engaged, even a small dispute can become a matter of life and death.
New details about the killing of Austin Metcalf, the student stabbed at a high school track meet near Dallas. According to the arrest affidavit, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony has confessed to the killing, saying he was trying to protect himself.
He knew how much I loved him, how much I do for him, anything. I do anything for him.
Hunter Metcalf says he held his twin brother Austin as he was dying.
I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I looked at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So.
It happened at the district championship meet in Frisco. Hunter says his brother had asked Carmelo to move his seat because he was sitting under the wrong tent. A witness says Carmelo replied, "Touch me and see what happens." And when Austin grabbed him, Carmelo allegedly pulled a knife.
So this incident hits close to home. It happened in North Texas. I live in North Texas. At a track meet in Frisco, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony encountered 17-year-old twins Austin and Hunter Metcalf. Now, the details are still a little sketchy, but what we do know is that an altercation took place that ended with Anthony stabbing Austin Metcalf, who later died. Anthony was later arrested and charged with first-degree murder. That's what we know. Unfortunately, as is often the case, there's a lot of opinions and BS out there because everyone has already jumped into their political and racial foxholes, and any nuanced conversation is pretty much impossible at this point. So we'll stay away from too many of the specifics, as that's not really the point here. At the end of the day, it's just a tragic incident that left one young man's future potentially in shambles, another young man with no future at all, and two families left to pick up the pieces. Anthony's defenders are sticking to the claim that he acted in self-defense, but I don't think that's going to hold up in court. In fact, and I'm no lawyer, but if they offered to knock the charges down to voluntary manslaughter, I'd take that in a heartbeat, because unless something groundbreaking comes out, this looks like a pretty cut and dry conviction. Now, I do believe that Carmelo Anthony may have thought his actions were justified. He may fully believe that he acted in self-defense, but you see, this is why it's so important that you understand the laws in your state. You need to know when you can use deadly force and when you cannot. Every armed citizen, whether you're carrying a knife or an AR-15, you've got to take the time to talk to a firearms instructor, an attorney, or at the very least, open a book. And again, I'm no attorney, but the way this looks right now, we have one kid who's about to spend most of his life behind bars and another who will not experience life at all. And it all happened in a matter of seconds because someone refused to leave a tent. What happens from here is for a jury to decide, but what's really important to understand is that both parties had opportunities to avoid this outcome. Unfortunately, adrenaline and testosterone took over and what happened. For Anthony, the correct move was to just leave the tent. It doesn't matter why or whether or not he actually had the right to be there. When he saw the situation escalate to the point where he felt that he might have to use a weapon, it was time to go. It wasn't time for pride or defiance. It was time to assess the situation and decide if this was really worth what it ultimately became. And while it is unfortunate that he lost his life, Austin Metcalf did have the chance to avoid this situation as well. When it became clear that Carmelo Anthony was not going to move, that was the time to step aside and let someone with authority handle the situation. The Metcalf brothers should have went to a faculty member, security, or even the police. Confronting Anthony, even if you believe that you had the upper hand, was a deadly mistake. And that really sucks, because I do believe that Austin Metcalf was trying to do the right thing. Whether or not that's the case, I don't know. At this point, there's a lot of BS and lies going around with both individuals, so ultimately, I'll stick with what I know. Both of them had a chance to walk away, and neither of them did. If there's an opportunity to withdraw, you need to withdraw. Failure to do so costed Metcalf his life and will cost Anthony his freedom. The days of fight today and we will be friends tomorrow are long gone. People will shoot you dead in the middle of the street in broad daylight in front of witnesses on camera and walk away like nothing happened. You can't afford to take those chances. Maybe you can get away with it in high school or college, but the older you get, the greater the odds that a fist fight can end with somebody dead. A grown man with a family is going to do whatever it takes to get home to them at the end of the night. If that means putting you in the ground, he will not hesitate to do it. In fact, you should expect a firearm to be in play if you confront an older man. He is not going to play with you. And even if you know that the person you're fighting is not armed, anything can happen. You could hold a choke a little too long, or the guy falls and hits his head on the concrete. If you volunteered for that fight, you're going to jail. There's also the possibility that there are pre-existing conditions. If you hit a guy in the chest and he goes down and doesn't get up, you're still going to jail. It doesn't matter that you didn't know he had a bad heart, and there is always the possibility that you're not just fighting one person. You don't know who his friends are, and you don't know if someone else might be carrying a weapon.
Cell phone video captures the end of a long altercation. One witness says it lasted about 10 minutes.
No, 'cause I'm going, no!
Police say before this, there was an argument between two men inside the store. A witness says 23-year-old Javon Taylor insulted a female cashier, and that 41-year-old Anthony Santee stood up for her. Police say Taylor retrieved a gun from his car and the two men got in a fight inside the store. The fight ended outside. This video captures the end. The gun is in the woman's hand and she's demanding Santee let Taylor go. She fires one fatal round.
Here's another case of a fight that ended with a fatality. Here, Anthony Santee confronted Javon Taylor after an argument in a gas station. When Taylor exited the building, Santee continued to pursue him. Taylor pulled a weapon from his vehicle and Santee engaged him, eventually taking him to the ground and locking in a chokehold. At this point, you see Taylor's girlfriend pleading with Santee to let him go. She's heard on the video shouting, "You're killing him, let him go," and "I have a gun." Santee doesn't let him go, and the woman fires a single shot, killing him. Again, when you willingly engage in an altercation, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You have to make smart decisions and be alert of all possibilities. Now, Anthony Santee was a firefighter, so I have to believe that he was at least familiar with de-escalation tactics. But in the heat of the moment, even a knowledgeable person may act on instinct rather than careful evaluation. In my eyes, Santee's mistake was following Taylor to his vehicle. I believe that he may have escalated the situation to the point where Taylor felt the need to pull out a gun. Once the fight started, I think Santee was stuck. Do you let a guy go once you know there's a gun on the field? If Santee releases Taylor, how does he know that Taylor won't grab the gun from his girlfriend and shoot him? It was really a shitty position for Santee because not letting go of the choke gave the girlfriend enough justification to fire. And in her position, it was the right move to make. This is not the UFC. Joe Rogan's not commentating. Herb Dean is nowhere to be found. If the girlfriend had done nothing, Santee could very well have choked Taylor to death. And Taylor himself was definitely not a good guy. He's had prior felonies and was illegally in possession of the firearm that ultimately killed Santee. That's why I can emphasize with Santee's position. Taylor is not someone you can trust to walk away and take the L. In that position, you pretty much have to incapacitate him. But again, the correct move that would most likely have kept everyone alive was to simply let him go after the initial argument and focus on de-escalation rather than suppression. That way, maybe this altercation never happens. Now, if you're ever in a situation and things might go foobar, this is what you need to keep in mind. You don't know that person's mental state. You don't know what he's capable of. Again, even if you believe that you have a physical advantage, street fights are unpredictable, and when the tables turn, you might already be in too deep. De-escalate first. If that doesn't work, withdraw, walk away. If that's not an option because either the attacker is not allowing it or if someone else will be in danger if you leave, then and only then do you resort to violent force. How to de-escalate a situation. First, stay calm and grounded. Control your tone, keep your voice calm and even, not too quiet or too aggressive. Body language matters. Keep your hands visible, avoid clenching fists, don't get in their face, and don't mirror their energy. If they're hyped, you being calm can help bring them down. Use your words carefully. Acknowledge feelings. Try something like, I get that you're upset. It shows empathy. Avoid blame or insults. That's only going to fuel the fire. Stay neutral. Let's talk, not fight. Set boundaries calmly but firmly. Like, I'm not trying to fight. Let's just take a second. Slow things down. Create space. Physically step back a bit if it's safe. It lowers the intensity. Distraction helps. Change the topic or ask a random question to shift focus. Offer an out. Give them a chance to walk away without losing face. Like, this isn't worth it, man. Let's bounce. And finally, know when to walk away. If it looks like it's going to turn violent and there's no reasoning, don't stick around. Get to a safer spot and don't hesitate to call for help if needed.
Well, police and witnesses say the sisters, along with their mother, went into the beauty supply store to confront a worker there. Now 2 people are dead. One's on the run and another in hiding.
A business's doors closed for now after 3 people went inside the store Wednesday, but only 1 came out. Hot Springs police confirmed 19-year-old Mernea Myers and her sister, 22-year-old Monteria Myers, and their mother went into Simply Unique Hair Beauty Supply to confront one of the workers. They got in a fight with that employee. Witnesses say the worker was badly beaten, grabbed a gun, and shot at the women. One sister died at the scene, the other died at the hospital. Their mother got in a black car and drove off.
One thing that people have got to understand, especially women, but definitely men too, anytime you send somebody to fight on your behalf, whether it's your husband, boyfriend, best friend, brother, cousin, or even your own kids, you are accepting the possibility that they might die. Okay, you are sending them out to possibly get killed, and you have decided that you're okay with that. That is exactly what happened here. 2 young women were minding their own business when they were called upon for a fight that wasn't theirs, and now they're dead. The sad part is that it was their own mother that sealed their doom. The mother was the one who got into an altercation with the salon worker, and instead of going home and letting it end, she recruited her own daughters and went back to the salon. Not only that, but when the situation got out of hands and shots were fired, she ran and left her own daughters to die. This is why you don't get caught up in a situation like this to begin with. You could be walking into your own death at the hands of someone you don't even know over something that's probably not even worth fighting over. You have to value your own life more than that and know how to say no. Once upon a time, it happened to me. I met a young lady, a friend of a neighbor, and let's just say one thing led to another. She ended up spending the night with me. The next morning, I noticed the black eye that I didn't see before. The girl told me the story about her boyfriend hitting her the day before, and then she asked me to go beat him up for her. No, I'm sorry that happened, but I'm not getting into that. If you were assaulted, the right move was to get the police involved in a restraining order, not to go out and screw a total stranger and then ask them to go fight for you. Domestic disputes are problems that you don't want to be a part of. If something is happening right in front of you, then do what you got to do to make sure no one gets hurt, but do not insert yourself into someone else's fight. And absolutely do not go to someone's house to try to fight them. That is literally the worst thing you can do, especially when it comes to domestic violence, because 9 times out of 10, she is going to forgive him and then do absolutely nothing to prevent this from happening again. There are even cases where guys have jumped into domestic fights and the woman turned around and attacked the guy who was trying to help. There are tons of examples of people involving themselves in those type of situations and having it end badly for them. My advice, make sure no one is hurt. And if you can, stay out of it as much as possible. Because a street fight isn't just bruises and a busted lip. It's court dates, caskets, and criminal records. You don't know who's carrying, who's got backup, or who's got trauma that'll make them snap. Street fights are never not chaos. Even if you win, if the other guy dies or gets seriously hurt, you're going to jail. It doesn't matter that you didn't mean to. It doesn't matter that he started it. You volunteered to fight, and that's all the law needs to hear. Learning how to defend yourself and your family is very important. At the very least, everyone should take a few classes or pick up a firearm and learn to use it. Knowing that you're able to protect the people you love is one of the most rewarding feelings that a man can have. Even if you never have to use it, just knowing that you can protect the people in your life will be great for your confidence and self-esteem. That said, knowing when to fight is also very important. The correct answer is never. Never fight. Never volunteer to fight. Never accept an invitation to fight. De-escalate, disengage, and if and only if all else fails, defend. Defend and do it like your life depends on it, because in some situations it actually will. Well, that's it for today. I appreciate everyone who watched this, but don't just sit and watch YouTube videos all day. You need to go outside and conquer life, because you matter and you need to make every day matter. Now get off the damn internet and go touch grass.
Until we meet again!